Our farmers, who are hurting financially, were largely overlooked for funding in favor of supporting a large corporate processor. A question to the Minister of Agriculture and Land. Why did the Irvings get such a large handout of island taxpayer money while island farmers are receiving such a small amount of support?
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Land.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And during COVID-19, I believe our agriculture industry came through, which is the backbone of our economy, Mr. Speaker. It came through with I take great pride in the way we handled this situation. Our farmers were facing uncertain times and uncertain measures. I know I had personally had calls from potato farmers that were facing bankruptcy because they didn't have, their warehouses were full of potatoes, Mr. Speaker. But I can tell you, to answer your question, the money is going towards trucking and storage. The storage is owned in northern New Brunswick by Oxford Blueberries. So, Mr. Speaker, and the Potato Board is administrating this, Mr. Speaker. It's very clear that we solved a $20 million problem with 4.7. The farmers have the crop in the ground. They're doing well. And everything is on stride, and we are happy about that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member from Mermaid Stratford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So this pandemic has shown us that centralizing food production actually creates weaknesses in our food supply chain. We lost an important part of our food supply chain in February when a fire led to the destruction of Macquarie Meat's processing facility, a facility which provided essential services to our island livestock farmers. However, in stark contrast to their recent bailout of the Irvings, the Department of Agriculture offered no aid to Macquarie's for fear of interfering in private business. Question to the Minister of Agriculture and Land. Why are you okay with interfering in private business when it involves the Irvings, but are seemingly all too willing to let our island-owned processors fend for themselves?
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Land.
Mr. Speaker, this line of questioning is very absurd because we have reached out to Macquarie's. We have reached out and we offered them supports, Mr. Speaker. We want to. I don't know if the member is against the potato industry or against our potato farmers that are trying to do, are the leader of our economy here with a $500 million of export from this little island, Mr. Speaker, for agriculture products. Thank you.
The Honourable Member from Mermaid Stratford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not against any farmers on PEI. I actually support them wholeheartedly and think that they should be treated as valuable as they are to our economy. So a question to the same minister. Given the enormity of the funds offered to Cavendish Farms, do you believe the Auditor General should have the authority to audit how those tax dollars were spent?
The Honourable Minister of Agriculture and Land.
Mr. Speaker, absolutely. The money is going through the Potato Board. They are administrating as needed, as the funds are needed, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, we support our agriculture, as I do. And with talking to my counterparts across the country, we are the envy. We are the envy, Mr. Speaker, in the agriculture going through COVID. We are taking a lead. We stepped up our agri-stability, which we are the praise of Canada. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member from Cornwall Meadowbank.